Hi there. Today is the last day of April, Financial Literacy Month, but we know that it's always the right time to teach children and teens about personal finance. And so today I want to share, in response to a question that I've been asked recently, what are some of the mistakes that adults make in teaching the next generation about money? I have 7 ideas. I'm going to run through them quickly to see what may resonate with you. And if you have other ideas as well, I hope you'll share. So number 1, I think that we need to make sure we're not making the mistake of teaching our children that just because what you see something, it is what it is. That's not true. We need to help them understand the difference between, number 1, again, assets versus liabilities. What you own as an asset and what you owe as a liability. Sometimes our children and teens see the fancy car, the fancy home, and think, oh, wow, that's amazing, it's fancy. However, not understanding that there is debt that is incurred with these items. And so it's important to help them understand the cost of the various things that they see. And also here is really important with assets that there are tangible and intangible assets. So I want to take a moment to really unpack this idea of intangible assets, things that we can't see, things that we can't touch. For example, knowing another language brings value, right? Being bilingual, multilingual, that is an asset. Also, playing an instrument can be an asset, right? Learning how to cook a delicious meal or a family tradition meal, that is a form of an asset, something that's going to be valuable in some way. And we have all these unique personalities that our children and teenagers have. Some have a lot of charisma. They're very friendly. That's a form of social capital that will likely in the future and even present day bring them solid friendships and allow them to network and just to be very, likable and all those types of things. And so we want to help our children and teenagers really explore this idea of assets, what you own versus liabilities. Number 2, which is connected to that, passive versus active income. Our children, I think, really do understand, as I've been working with them and teaching them and learning from them as well, the idea that you have to have a job, you have to have a career, mostly to have or to make money, to earn money. However, this idea of passive income, making money, quote unquote, while you sleep, or having an asset that allows the money to replicate itself over time, is something that our children and teenagers may not be as clear about. And so it's something for us to help unpack with them. Which connects to number 3, that compound interest works both ways. Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it, earn it. And those who don't, pay it. So here's a direct connection to consumer debt. Did you know that the average credit card interest rate as of 2025 is 22.5%? A whopping number, right? So sometimes our kids and teens see us swipe, 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 or the Amazon Prime package just arrives at our house. They're not necessarily making this connection between the actual money that is being spent. And so we want to be careful around how we explain consumer debt to our young people, these payment plans and all those types of things. And by contrast, what we should be doing is explaining that long-term investing in the stock market, retirement plans, all these types of things will instead be favorable, is the most preferred way to use this idea of interest and compounding over time. So far I've shared 3 ideas or 3 mistakes that we want to avoid in teaching our children about money and teenagers about money. First, again, this distinction between assets versus liabilities. 2, the distinction between passive versus active income. And 3, that compound interest works in both ways. It's a 2-way street. It can either work for you or work against you. And so obviously we want it to work for our young people. The next and final 4 are really more so about mindset, because money really is grounded in our psychology, our behaviors, our experiences. And so something that we want to make sure we're teaching our young people about is the value of professionalism. Whether you're an employee or an employer, whether you're an entrepreneur running your own business or you're working in an organization, it's important that we teach our young people and that we're explicit about helping them to understand some of the best practices and the ways to be a professional. How do you conduct yourself? How do you carry yourself? the value of being on time, the value of honoring your commitments, being a person of your word, the value of collaborating with a team, because in any work that we do, even if you're a solopreneur, right, there is an element of working with other people and working across difference and working towards common goals and shared goals and being able to disagree in an agreeable manner without being disrespectful and unkind, right? And so they learn these skills when they're on their sports teams, when they're in class and school, and when they're at home with their younger siblings and navigating these relationships. And however, we would just want to call them out that, oh, this will be a really great skill, or this is great practice for when you are a professional in the workplace. And so that's something that we want to also continue to emphasize with our young people. Moving on here, another key point that we want to make sure that we're emphasizing with our young people and avoiding making a mistake, and that is we must teach our young people the value of generational wealth. And so, yes, I think we understand this idea that from generation to generation, we can set up the next round of young people, right, to be in a better position and to be set up for success through our investments, having a will, having a trust, having things set up that make sense for everyone's unique household and experiences, but also want to posit this idea of the importance of generational knowledge, right? And so teaching our young people the importance of the past and our history, right? Grandma Maggie, you know, this was what she did. She was a mother of 9 children, and she was a stay-at-home mom, and look at the value that she brought to our family through these wonderful traditions. Understanding some of the injustices as well, that is, as it relates to money over time. So studying some of these historical moments, such as the Tulsa Massacre on Black Wall Street, right? And things of that nature. Our children and teenagers are very capable of understanding these historical moments and the impact of these moments, and how we, you know, now have this responsibility to honor our ancestors, to honor the past, and in so doing, in the present and in the future, that is how we actually pay our respects, right? Ooh, pay our respects, I like that. All right. Also, that connects, I guess, to this one of the second to last one of being socially responsible. We want to teach our young people to give back to their communities, to have empathy for others who may be experiencing difficult times, to understand, again, that often those experiencing poverty, these are compounding issues and often grounded in, you know, systemic racism and challenges, and just so it's just a melange, unfortunately, of just a variety of social factors. And so we want our children to understand that they have a sense of agency, that they also have a sense of responsibility to be of help and to be of service to others. And perhaps there may be people who disagree with me on that, but I do believe that we want to teach our young people to be kind and to have both self-respect and also mutual respect for others, and to know that they can make a difference. And the last one today is about critical thinking skills. We have to teach our kids and teens how to analyze, how to evaluate, how to solve problems. And so, yes, there will be financial problems, but we also know there's other problems that can arise in life. And so all of this is connected, right? As we teach our children these basics of, you know, earn, save, invest, spend, and give, that kind of basic outline of personal finance, inherent to all of that process or all of those actions is the ability to think, the ability to know that you can direct how you are living your life and how you are making decisions, that you can interrogate spaces and ask questions when you don't understand, because that's what our children are going to have to be able to do when they, you know, want to buy a home, or when they're ready to, you know, make that first career move, or navigate negotiating a salary. All those types of things are going to have to employ one of our greatest human resources, and that is our ability to think, our ability to communicate our ideas, and to communicate those ideas. A couple ways that we can do that is by asking if-then statements, right? So if you, don't clean your room today, then it's going to be, dirty. You may not have clean laundry, all those types of things. And so it might seem like a really small example, but again, we have to be explicit and intentional in how we're teaching our young people about these ideas. And so if-then statements, helping them process logical and natural consequences, is also a way that we can help promote their critical thinking ability. And finally, my favorite, and I think I've shared this before and will continue to share it, the importance of having gratitude. So again, critical thinking, yes, analyze, yes, evaluate, yes, interrogate, yes, create, and also be reflective. And in that process of being reflective, there's so much to be grateful for. As it relates to personal finance, right? The idea here is that if we're grateful and we appreciate the things that we do have, right? It can help prevent us from falling into the trap of trying to keep up with the Joneses. Look at what they have over there. Oh, I wish if I could, do what they're doing, or, I wish I had the money that they had. Gratitude helps us lock in and focus on what we do have, and allows us just to live our best lives, while obviously celebrating and encouraging others to do the same. So thank you so much for spending time with me, as I just really felt compelled to share these ideas around some of the common, what I would consider common mistakes, but also what we can do to avoid these mistakes as money mentors, as parents, adults, and guardians. So again, just to run them back one more time, we need to teach our young people the difference between assets and liabilities. Number 2, help them distinguish the difference between passive and active income. Number 3, that compound interest works both ways. Obviously, we want it to work for our favor. And the last 4, again, are more so about mindset and how we behave and how we think. And so number 4 is about professionalism. Number 5 is about generational wealth and knowledge. Number 6 is about teaching social responsibility. And number 7 is about teaching critical thinking skills, which includes being grateful. And so I'm grateful that I was able to come on and share this video. I hope it'll be helpful to whoever watches or listens, as we truly do have a responsibility to our young people. And it's a responsibility that definitely will pay dividends. Thanks so much. Adios.